Who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks? You're damn right.
Good evening, late night. Late night with the Radical Republicans live show. After Super Bowl special, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks on their victory in the Super Bowl. And no, I did not watch the halftime show with whoever the hell, Bad Bunny, whatever. But this is your 2-hour edition. We're going late night tonight. I know on the East Coast it's 10:30 p.m., so I'm hoping you guys will hang with me tonight. We got a fire show still. Still a fire show. We're going to talk about controlled opposition. We're going to talk about Bongino. We're going to talk about Kushner. We're going to talk about the gatekeepers. So I'm hoping you guys can hang out with me for this late night special on the East Coast, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 7:30 p.m. Pacific Coast Time. So I hope you all had a great week. I see you, Carolyn, Susan, Joe. I see you over there, my late nighters out there on the East Coast, hanging out with the boy, the J Black Mamba Chief, Jerome Bell, bringing it to you live and in color. So we'll see who pop in on the Getter chat tonight, see if anybody hanging out over there watching the rest of the Super Bowl. There's a blog, but we're going to bring it to you. So we're going to get started because I know you are. I just want to know what I'm talking about. So here we go. We're going to bring it to you. So, what's the difference between a lie and a damn lie? What's the difference? So here it is. So a lie is when you don't know no better. A damn lie is when you do know better and you say it anyway. Dan Bongino knows better. Okay? Dan Bongino knows better. And tonight we're going to talk about what happens when a so-called truth warrior, as he calls himself, what did he say, the Podfather? As he says, the Podfather A truth warrior decides that the truth is too dangerous to tell. Okay, and that's Bongino. But first, we got breaking news. We're going to bring it in so hot that I have to get into it before the main course, okay? So, Super Bowl Sunday, like I said, February 8th, 2026. We're going 2 hours. No commercials, no bullshit, just the truth like we bring it to you. Unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, unscripted, and definitely unapologetic. And so while everybody else is watching the Super Bowl, Patriots and the Seahawks at Levi's Stadium and watching Bad Bunny at halftime, or you may have switched over to the TPUSA halftime show. I didn't watch either one of them because neither one of them are doing anything to stop these elite pedophiles from raping kids and having victims, and we still want that, all right? So I guess you watch Bad Bunny shake his ass at halftime or whatever he does or whatever, or TPUSA. You guys tell me what you looked at in the chat, and I figured out, but I didn't watch either one. But we're doing the work that matters here, okay? So tonight's show was supposed to be all about Dan Bongino. I all week long I've just prepared Dan Bongino and the controlled opposition blueprint, right? Because he's the blueprint. He is the blueprint. If you guys look at it, you guys will see it. Hold on, I'm gonna change something on my mic here because I was hearing a little feedback. Okay, hopefully that's better. But so, and we are getting to that. But believe me, we're gonna go deep dive on Bongino tonight. We are gonna go deep dive. But this week, so much happened this week that I have to hit the news first, okay? Because what happened this week tells you everything about why the Bongino conversation matters, okay? Why it matters. So everything that we hit. So you guys go ahead and throw it in the chat. Louis Harper, I see you. Welcome for bringing it in, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing it in. And so, hold on, somebody told me to text them when they get ready, when the show was coming on, but I know it's East Coast, so they'll probably sleep. Okay, let me text them real quick and see if they, all right. So because people ask me, where are you still doing the show? Like, hey, it's going to have to be after the Super Bowl because I know people watch the Super Bowl. I'm downstairs with the family, with my son watching the Super Bowl, getting fat on some good food I made today. Okay. All right. So here's the first thing, right? I'm going to play this video. Okay. Because I'm going to run it down. Trump posted a video. Well, supposedly Trump. I know it was his staffer because let me tell you how it worked. Okay. Because I had one too. When you're running for Congress, most of the time you don't have, or when you're in Congress or especially the presidency, you have so many things to do, right? You really don't have time to just sit and post. A lot of people think Trump just sits on his phone and just posts on Truth Social. No, that's not happening, okay? He has someone to do that for him. That's why he honestly can blame it on a staffer because it was a staffer. It wasn't him. It's never him. That's what you guys have to understand. It's never him. But we are always responsible. I had people running my social media. Everything that was posted on X and Twitter, they got me banned. They got me shadow banned on Facebook. I wasn't posting. I was approving it. Okay, I see it. I saw it. Okay, fine. We're responsible for it. There's a couple of things I wish wasn't said that I have to be responsible for. And it is what it is. We don't apologize for it because we're responsible. And this is one reason Trump hasn't apologized for the video depicting the Obamas as supposedly as apes on Truth Social. But when you look at the whole video, it really was about Democrats. I actually saw the whole video and I thought it was funny as fuck. I laughed my ass off. I thought it was hilarious, to be honest. So, everybody's losing their mind, but like I said, I got my own take on it, and it's not what you think. It's not what you think, but we're going to get into that too. So, okay, the DHS is about to shut down again February 13th deadline. I think they only funded it for like 2 weeks, 10 days or some shit. Democrats, they want ICE reforms after the two people got smoked in Minneapolis for playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes. Fortunately, hopefully, the Republicans are saying hell no to that. Yeah, the U.S. and Iran are supposed to be in direct talks in Oman. Witkoff and Jared Kushner meeting with the Omanis. And here's what I discovered, right? I had a revelation. Okay. And I sort of discovered something about Kushner and a little law called the Logan Act. Yeah, the Logan Act. And it's really going to blow your mind because, when we get into that, you're going to be like, you know what? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Gold and silver is still volatile. Okay. The biggest crash in history happened. I think silver went down like $63. It's back up to Let me see what it's trading on the on the world spot right now. Here we go. What is silver and gold doing? Gold is at 5,000. Silver's back up to 81. So we're rolling again. You know they crashed the price on purpose, right? To try to buy up all the physical silver, get people to sell and buy it up because of what Trump is saying. Trump announced a $12 billion rare earth stockpile. You had JD Vance going in front of 50 nations, to talk about what they were going to do in silver. Bitcoin crashed to 60K. The crypto market lost 2.6 billion in one day, right? And then we talk about job openings. Job openings dropped to 6.5 million, the lowest since 2020. Winter Olympics in Milan opened up. We had a few assholes talk about that. No, they're not happy being Americans right now. What's going on? So we're gonna cover all of it. We're gonna cover all of it in these 2 hours, and I'm gonna go fast and furious. But plus the main event tonight, Dan Bongino. I'm exposing his ass, right? And like I said, this Kushner thing is a bombshell. When you really think about it, all right, so we're going to get to work real quick. Then we're going to go to work. I'm going to check the chats real quick, see what people are saying, who all popped in. Nope, went to Morgan Freeman. There you go. Some of Our Fears. You know what? I love that movie. I love that movie, Some of Our Fears. I've seen it. And it's possible. Definitely possible, Carolyn. I agree. So, Susan, I hope you stay with me over there. And I know you're going to watch it tomorrow. If you don't, I know you're going to watch it, Susan. If you don't, I know you may have to get up early and teach to the Chinese. All right, but I'm going to play this Trump video. This Trump's Obama video real quick. I'm going to play it. I'm going to give you my take on it. And then we're going to move on. All right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, so we're going to play this real quick. All right? Let me make sure I have this on. We're gonna play this, and like I said, I thought it was funny as fuck myself. Some people, didn't get it, but I'm gonna give you my take on it. Here we go.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Interagency.
Hey, who's the fat white chick though? Who's the fat white chick? I think that was the funniest shit ever. Who's the fat white chick that moved that child off the screen? That was pretty hilarious. It was. She was tasteless, but it was funny though. All right. Okay, but here we go. So let's get started. Everybody's talking about it, right? So let me give you my take on it. Okay, because it ain't what the lefts want to hear, and it ain't what the MAGA Coke crowd wants to hear either. Okay, but Thursday night, Trump or somebody, his account, right? I think it was Dan Scavino myself, because I think Dan Scavino runs his social media. So they posted that, the video that you just saw, right? So I'm laying. So first of all, I think the staffer probably needs to be fired on that because, dude, he's the president of the United States. You can't have the president of the United States just posting shit like that or supposedly posting, so I think that guy, whoever it is, they just need to be fired just for being stupid. Okay? Just for being stupid because, Trump don't sit around and just do that all day. Okay? Just like every other politician. Now, with that said, okay, I think we're all responsible for our pages. I said that. So the buck definitely stops with Trump, but that's how it is. Okay? But I think Caroline Leavitt, actually, she made it worse with her statement, right? Like, please stop with the fake outrage. Well, some people are outraged because you do have to understand that historically, okay, Black people were called apes and monkeys and things, and some people still hold that, right? Some people hold that, so that statement showed a complete lack of compassion about people's feelings. And of course, I'm the first one to say, well, fuck your feelings, right? I am the first one to say that. Okay. But when you're at this level, we're at a level like the president, and you really have to sort of care a little bit about people, right? Like, are we trying to report on something that actually matters to the American public? Is what she says, right? But am I thinking to her like, well, you know what? We are, Caroline. We are trying to talk about the rape and the torture and the eating of children. I'm gonna play a video, man, and the eating of children by these maniacs that's being protected by the administration right now. Okay, so that's what matters right now to the American public, Caroline. And your administration, this administration, is not doing a damn thing about it, but blocking. Okay, but blocking. But I guess if the Obamas would have been Pumbaa and Timon, I guess there would be no issue. you know, I guess it would, right? I mean, but you have to understand. I mean, but me, I'm sort of twisted. I guess you can say that, right? I mean, because honestly, I thought it was funny because I know who I am. I know who I am, and no, I know I'm not a gorilla. I know I'm not a monkey, or whatever they want to call me. I mean, I've been called so many names that shit just really doesn't bother me like that, right? I grew up sticks and stones may break my bones, but names would never hurt me. I mean, my mom and dad, I mean, taught me that. So none of this stuff, names ever offended me, Even though, yeah, historically black people been called monkeys and gorillas, and that's for weak ass people. Was it tasteless? Yeah, probably. Was it offensive to me? Oh, hell no. Hell no, because like I said, but neither is being called a nigga, a coon, a sellout, a Uncle Tom, a bootlicker, an anti-Semite. I mean, by my own people and by Jews. I mean, I've heard it all. So I'm still standing right here, but that's just me. Okay? That's just me. I have thick ass skin, And I get not everybody else feels the same way I do. My sister, she went ballistic. I'm like, why, man? I'm like, why? Some people, you just need to get over your feelings, get over yourselves, stay focused. And I think the president of the United States and his people need to, probably, keep it to a higher standard, right? I mean, the Epstein client list, right, exists. Videos exist of billionaires, both Democrat and Republican, men and women, black and white, they're hurting children, right? So here's what I'm thinking. And here's what I'm thinking about that, right? If motherfuckers got more outraged about that, how about Americans are paying taxes and we're getting screwed over, we're getting robbed of our wealth, right? Shit actually might get done if people were more outraged about the real stuff, instead of the elite individuals getting away with their crimes, So that's the point, That's what Caroline should have said, right? Not stop the fake outrage. She should have said, do you want to be outraged? Be outraged about the children being trafficked while you argue about a meme. How about saying something like that, Caroline, right? No, but she didn't say that because the gatekeepers, they don't want you focused on the Epstein list. They don't want you focused on the 3 million pages and videos or whatever they have that they're still holding. They don't want you to be focused on that, right? They don't want you to be focused on the 29 people who got secret deals. They want you arguing about really what they argue about was a photo. It wasn't even the video, but it's a minute video. It's a minute video and really like a 2-second clip in the video. That was like the first 2 to 5 seconds of the video, the Obamas, right? And they want you focusing and argue about that shit. And Tim Scott, man, God bless his soul, the only black senator, and I'm sort of, I feel a little some way about that, right? The only black senator in Congress. Now, I respect that he spoke up. He said that he was praying that it was fake because it's not, because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. Really, it's not. Really, that was not the most racist thing, but what happened though? They took it down and blamed the staffer, and that's cool. It was the staffer's fault, But here's what I also respect: Tim Scott has the guts to criticize his own side. That's cool, because he really don't. I guess it took this for weak ass Tim Scott to stand up and say no, Hey, but I guess that's sort of accountability, right? They're trying to hold his side accountable. Now, that's more than Bongino, Hannity, or any of these other gatekeepers. I tell you that for a fact, right? It's a heck a lot more than that. But I gotta pull up something real quick. And like I say, you guys know I run my own show here, so when things pop up on my screen, and sometimes they do, I have to get rid of it. I actually have to get rid of it. It's kind of wacky and crazy. All right, but that's what we need to talk about. All right, so, but where's your energy for the Epstein list, right? All right. So it is what it is, man. But let's just get it done. All right, so we got this second, the DHS shutdown. Okay, I got some things written down that I definitely want to cover. You know, um, but we just reopened from a partial shutdown. 3 days they passed funding for DHS. Friday the 13th, isn't it funny, right? DHS funding expires Friday the 13th. Ooh, you know. So we're gonna see what they do with that, man. I mean, these guys, the Democrats lose me. Hakeem Jeffries wants to dramatically reform ICE. Schumer wants to ban roving patrols. They want to ban deportation of U.S. citizens caught up in sweeps. They say, "Oh, this is like Russia. This is like the Stasi." Well, you know what? When I was over in Russia, in Moscow, right, I'm walking across Red Square. One of the guards, one of the soldiers said, "Let me see your papers. Let me see your papers." I take my papers out, showed it to him. Okay, you have a good night. You know what? Russia don't have a illegal immigration problem. You know, Russia don't have that. No, yeah, nah. Do we want to live that way? No, but unfortunately we're forced right now to have to go through the bullshit because we have 50 million illegals that's not supposed to be here. Russia don't have that problem. Why? Because they ask for your papers, and if you overstay your papers, they make your ass leave or they put you in jail. You know? Senator Kennedy said, "Hey, I love this. I think DHS is going to be shut down for a while." Really, Senator Kennedy? Now here's what nobody's talking about on that, right? If DHS shuts down, it's not just ICE that stops. TSA stops. FEMA stops, right? We still got storms out here, brewing up. Coast Guard funding stops because Coast Guard is under DHS. Coast Guard funding stops. So who gets hurt? Regular Americans trying to fly, trying to go on vacation, business. Maybe they might have family emergency. So regular Americans are the ones that got to deal with this shit. Regular Americans dealing with natural disasters. That's the people that that are going to get hurt, right? So my real question is, why can't Congress do its one damn job? Fund the government. Do a budget. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to kick the can down the road. You're supposed to actually do a budget. That's it. That's your one job, right? Fund the government. Do what you're supposed to do. But no, they rather play political games while the country burns, man, and while we're at each other's throat. All of us need to really come together, seriously, right? We need to understand that it's really us against them. It's us against them. Stop fighting with each other. Start fighting amongst each other, because that's the only thing, they're hoping. I have a bunch of clips I want to get to, but what they want us fighting amongst each other, so we won't see what they're doing, right? Like the U.S. is in talks with Iran. So who is this really for? Let's just think about it. Is it for us? Does Iran really pose a threat to us? I know Joe Olson is in the chat. He sent me a clip. He said that about the aircraft carriers. We're just sitting pinatas out there because truth is that in this warfare, in this type of warfare, aircraft carriers really have to stay far away from the war per se because we're just sitting targets. We're just sitting. Susan said, "I was wondering who she was too." Yes, Carolyn, I was called a white supremacist as well. I was called a white supremacist. I was called the new face of right-wing extremism. Right? Yeah. I was called the white supremacist by the Washington Post. And yeah, Carolyn, you're right. Absolutely on that. I mean, but this one is shoes though. Nobody's covering it the way it needs to be covered. You know what's going on with this Iran stuff. So today, right now, the United States and Iran are supposedly in direct talks in Oman. Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy, is there, and guess who else is there? Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, the guy with no government title, no Senate confirmation, no security clearance that we know of. He may have a security clearance, but none that we know of. And he's negotiating with a foreign power. And the CENTCOM commander, Admiral Brad Cooper, was spotted at the meetings, the head of our military operations in the Middle East, at a diplomatic meeting. So Iran's foreign minister, Aragachi, presented this preliminary plan that Iran called a good start. Trump says he wants zero capability from Iran. Now here's my question, and the same question I've been asking since this administration started this year, and last administration too. So who is this for? Is this for America, or is this for Israel? Is this for America, or is this for Israel? Because the last time I checked, Iran hasn't attacked the United States. Iran is not on our border. Iran is not stealing American jobs. But we're sending Jared Kushner to negotiate on behalf of who? Who exactly? Who is he negotiating for? So meanwhile, the nuclear arms treaty between the U.S. and Russia expired. It lapsed for the first time in 50 years. The two largest nuclear powers have no agreement limiting their arsenals. And we're focused on Iran right now, who pose no threat to the United States. America only, guys. You guys know I should have put on my America only hat tonight. But it's the chief first, man. But America only means we handle our problems first, our borders, our economy, our people, not Israel's problems. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to say that every show. No, not Saudi Arabia's problems, not, Jordan's problems, our problems. But the gatekeepers won't say that. Okay, Bongino won't say that. Shapiro, speaking about Ben Shapiro, definitely won't say that. Mark Levin won't say that. But speaking about Kushner, so I think what I discovered is should blow your mind, and it should piss you off, right? Because I don't remember him having an official title. I don't remember him being confirmed by the Senate. If I'm wrong, please in the chat, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. Who's Mr. White Trash? What's happening? Joe said Donnie has sent 450 Tomahawks to the Mideast subsonic 1983 design, useless in Ukraine, were $1.5 million each. Because here's the bottom line on that, right? Iran, this is why, this is my belief as to why we have not attacked Israel yet. I'm going to get back to Jared Kushner in a second, but this is my belief why we have not attacked Iran yet, because Israel said, no, don't do it yet because we're not ready. Iran has hypersonics. They don't want to fuck with Iran. I'm honest. I'm being as honest as I can. I truly don't think we want to fuck with Iran because Iran has hypersonic missiles. Undetectable. You can't shoot them down. And in 12 days, Iran showed Israel what would happen. All they got to do is keep launching missiles until, the Iron Dome protection run out, and then what do you have, right? And Iran dropped a couple of hypersonics in there on Iran on Israel the first time, and I think that's why they said, okay, it's enough. 12 days, we've had enough. We see the hypersonics, man. Let's just go on, right? Let's just go on. All right, so back to Kushner. Jared Kushner in the Logan Act, right? I'm going to read that to you. And the two that I'm calling I'm calling Jared Kushner the $2 billion man. The $2 billion man. So, all right. So before we get to Bongino, okay, so and I keep saying that because I want to remind you, I'm getting to Bongino. This is mostly about Dan Bongino, but I need to drop something on you that came to me while I was researching the Iran talks, right? And when I tell you this, you're gonna understand why the controlled opposition conversations, conversation matters so much. You're gonna understand why they want to keep us fighting. You're gonna understand why they're throwing Bad Bunny out there, to distract you. So I just said Jared Kushner was sitting in Oman right now doing indirect negotiations with Iran over their nuclear program. Jared Kushner, private citizen, Jared Kushner. No government title that I know of. No Senate confirmation that I've seen or know of. No official role. Private citizen sitting across from Omani mediators with the CENTCOM commander in the room, negotiating with a foreign government on behalf of the United States of America. Now, I want you to think about something. Does anybody remember a little thing, like I say, called the Logan Act? Do you remember that? Do you know what that is? Do you know what is the Logan Act? Okay, but it is a federal law, and I'm going to tell you. It's been on the books since 1799, since John Adams was president, and it codified at 18 U.S. Code Section 953. I'm going to read you the exact exchange, the exact language, because I want you to hear this. I want you to understand this. Any citizen of the United States, wherever he may be, who without authority of the United States, and just because the president says, okay, man, you go ahead and do that, that does not give them authority. Directly or indirectly commences or carries on any correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any foreign officer or agent thereof with intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government in relation to any disputes or controversies with the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. 3 years in prison. Now, that's what the law says, not me, not CNN, not MSNBC, not Fox, not Newsmax. That's the United States Code, So now let me ask you a question. I want to know what Jared Kushner is doing in Oman right now. He's a private citizen. He holds no government office, none that I know of. He's not on the cabinet. He was not confirmed by the Senate. He has no official title or authority. And he's sitting in a room with the CENTCOM commander, the head of all military operations in the Middle East, negotiating with a foreign government about their nuclear program. If that's not a violation of the Logan Act, then the Logan Act does not exist. But I know it exists. You know why I know it exists? Because you remember a guy named General Mike Flynn, right? Trump's national security advisor, a friend of mine. He actually endorsed both of my campaigns and stuff. Me and Mike talked a little bit. You know what? They destroyed him. And you know what they used? They used the Logan Act as a basis to investigate him. They trapped him in a perjury charge. They bankrupted him. They forced him to plead guilty because they were going after his family, going after his sons, and they tried to send him a prisoner. What was Flynn's crime? He had a phone call. He had a phone call with the Russian ambassador during the what? During the transition. He was more of a government official than Jared Kushner is. He was Trump's national security advisor. And this was during the transition. During the transition when he was incoming as the national security advisor. He had more authority. He had more authority than Jared Kushner has right now. Now, you remember Peter Strzok, FBI, from his own notes in the Oval Office meeting, they'll show that Joe Biden was the one who brought up the Logan Act against Flynn. Biden said the Logan Act in that meeting, and they ran with it because it's there on the books. They weaponized or used a law from 1799 to destroy a 3-star general for doing his job during a transition. But guess what? Jared Kushner, a real estate developer. This is what you guys have to understand that he's a real estate developer. This is why he's in the Middle East. This is why he's in Gaza, right? He's formulating all the plans. He's the head honcho building Gaza with a $2 billion Saudi money bag. That's why I call him the $2 billion man. The Saudi money bag. He can sit in Oman and negotiate nuclear deals with Iran, and nobody says a word. I haven't heard anybody. Have any of you heard anything about this at all? I know I haven't. And here's why. Where are there investigations? Where are the special counsels? Where's the FBI interviews? Where are the perjury traps? They're nowhere. They're nowhere because the rules don't apply to the inner circle. The rules only apply to, the pissants, the peons. Just like the Jeffrey Epstein list, don't apply to the inner circle. Raping kids don't apply. Eating kids don't apply. But here's the $2 billion elephant in the room, right? And here's where it gets ugly for me. January 21st, 2021, the day after Trump left the White House, the very next day, Jared Kushner incorporates a new company called Affinity Partners in Delaware. He incorporated it in Delaware, called Affinity Partners. Okay? This is where it gets messy and gets dirty. And this is the type of shit that pisses me off, right? And nobody's talking about this. Nobody has hit this angle. Nobody. Yes, Steve Bannon hadn't done it. Fox News, Hannity, nobody has done it. Nobody, not even the Democrats have done it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kushner got confirmed to a position that I don't know about. There was 6 months later after that, 6 months, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, controlled by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the same MBS that Kushner was texting on a first-name basis from the White House, mind you, invest $2 billion into Kushner's brand new company. $2 billion. And here's the kicker. The Saudi funds, their own advisors, recommended, the Saudi funds' own advisors recommended against the investment. Against the investment. They said the Kushner's firm had inexperience. They said that the due diligence was unsatisfactory in all aspects. And they said that the deal posed public relations risk. I wonder why. And you know what MBS did? He overruled his own advisor, sent the money anyway. Send the money anyway. Why? Because they want some of that Israel. They want some of Gaza, man. They know what's going on in there, right? $2 billion to a guy with zero private equity experience, whose only qualification was that he spent 4 years in the White House shaping U.S. Saudi policy. Even Chris Christie, fat ass Chris Christie said the grift from this family is breathtaking. I mean, there's a lot of, nepotism going on in here. I mean, it's when you really look at it, the Trump family is getting more rich while he's in the White House. I don't give a shit if you're mad at me saying that or what, but they are, man. You have to look at it. You got Trump RX, you got, this Trump management group dealing with the fusion company. You got you got cryptocurrency. You have all of this shit, man, that they're doing. And then they got this stuff in Gaza going on. They're in the mix, right? And Kushner's firm has generated $157 million in management fees since 2021. $87 million of that from Saudi Arabia alone. So by 2024, the fund had returned no profits to investors. Zero. But Kushner's getting his $25 million annual management fee regardless. Can you believe that shit? No profits to investors, but Kushner's getting his $25 million, his management fee. He's the manager. Right? This is fucking money laundering, yo. This money laundering. Let me paint the picture for you. Because this is shit that keeps me up at night, right? A man who shaped U.S. Saudi policy from the White House, who defended MBS after the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who pushed a $110 billion arms deal with Saudi Arabia, walks out of the White House and immediately gets $2 billion from the Saudis in 2021. And now that same man is back. Not as a confirmed official, not as a Senate approved diplomat, but as a private citizen with $2 billion, $2 billion in Saudi money, negotiating with Iran and nuclear weapons. Who does he represent? Does he represent you? Does he represent the factory worker in Ohio, veterans in Idaho, single moms in Virginia? Who does he represent? Or does he represent the Saudis who gave him the $2 billion? The Israelis he's investing in through affinity partners. How about that? Is that who he represents? The Gulf state sovereign wealth funds that make up his investor base? Is that who he represents? See, this is why America only means you only negotiate for work America. Okay? Your negotiators only work for America. Not for their own bank accounts, not for Saudi princes, not for Israeli interests, America. But we have a problem with that in America. We have a huge problem with that in America. This is why it connects to controlled opposition, right? And this is why I say the Bongino conversation matters. This is why I'm talking about controlled opposition tonight, because Dan Bongino will never cover this story, not like this, not like this, not with these facts. Not asking these questions. Bongino will never ask, why is a private citizen with $2 billion in Saudi money negotiating with Iran? Bongino's not going to ask you that. Bongino will never ask, where's the Logan Act investigation? He's not going to ask you that. Bongino will never ask, how is this different from what they did to Mike Flynn, General Mike Flynn? He's not going to ask you that. Shapiro's not going to ask it. Hannity's not going to ask it. Levin is not going to ask it. Tucker might. I want Tucker to jump on this, man. Tucker, if you hear me, bro, jump on this, man. You got a fucking bigger audience than I got. Let's see if Tucker jump on it. Somebody text Tucker or ex Tucker. I'm like shadow banned, man. So nobody sees my shit. That's why I don't even have blue check anymore, man. I don't even pay the premium anymore for the blue check. Grok told me, bro, you're wasting your money, man. Nobody in the mainstream conservative media will touch this. See, because touching this means that it's questioning the inner circle. And you know what? That inner circle is off limits. That inner circle is way off limits. Melania the movie, Jeff Bezos invested $75 million for Vanity Flick. Did he? Jeff Bezos popped in $75 million for that? I didn't go watch it. I wasn't going to watch that shit, bro. I really wasn't. You know, but they'll spend all day on the Obama ape video. And look, I already told you my take on that, right? I laughed. It didn't offend me. But I'm not going to pretend it's not a distraction from the real issues, because that's what they try to do, distract you, right? A private citizen with $2 billion in foreign money negotiating nuclear deals. Crickets from the conservative media. Crickets. Newsmax. Fox News. Haven't heard Megan talk about it at all. See, and that's not journalism. That's controlled opposition. That's controlled opposition, right? Now we get to the man that embodies. I think embodies the gatekeeper problem, but you know, I think I'm gonna have to bring in some music again. But let me see what What the hell am I gonna come in with, man, for freaking Bongino? It's kind of oh man. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, I don't know. All right, here we go, Bongino. Here you go. This is for Bongino, man. I think this is for Bongino right here.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping.
All right, Bongino. Here we go. I'm gonna play some videos first from Bongino. Man, got some Bongino stuff. I want. I think I'm gonna play this one with no sound first, man. Hold on. I got so much Bongino. I didn't know I had this much Bongino stuff. I gotta see where I'm gonna start at because okay, let's start here. I'm gonna start here with Bongino. Here you go.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
So the show is definitely coming back.
When?
Now he's back on the show. I'm just gonna pop through some Bongino stuff real quick.
And I was reading through some stuff that you can only read in the office, and it just involved basically the collusion hoax, Crossfire Hurricane, as it went by, and the various other spinoffs. And when you read from the inside, Sean, when you see the details of what these just absolute animals did to President Trump, and the barriers that broke down, and the guardrails, it was, I'm not.
The third group of people I want to address are the grifters out there who mistakenly thought I wasn't coming back. Now, I am back. The Podfather is back, and I'm here to take back this movement. This movement's been hijacked by a small group of dipshits and bums and losers who are nothing but doomers under the frame of accountability. I'm all about accountability. I just showed you what we did or what we didn't. Did I not? I'm not sitting here going, hey, trust me, bro. I showed you. If you like it, great. If you don't, that is absolutely your constitutional right. You paid for it to go out and go, that sucked. I would have done something different. Okay, but you didn't. You didn't do anything different. I'm not sure if you volunteered to serve or not, but you didn't. You sat in the front row with your popcorn, ankle biting, throwing this popcorn at the ring at two guys in there sparring away, fighting for this country while you did shit. You just talked about it. So you didn't do anything. Now, I'm back on the air. I'm not going to take on every single thing in one day in one show, but I'm telling you right now, your bullshit, I'm done with it. The grifter bums, all you guys are a class of doomers. Everything sucks all the time. You would have done it different. You didn't do shit. You did nothing. You didn't volunteer. You didn't ask. You didn't give up your show to do. You did nothing. All you did was bullshit people and say, nothing's happening. And then when we tell you, oh, it just happened, you move on to something else you say is not going to happen. And then when that happens, you move on to something else. You want to critique it, say you would have done better, step up. Step up. Go ahead. They got openings. You go try it. See what you're dealing with.
First of all, Dan Bongino, we didn't get off the job. We didn't. I would take the job. We didn't get off the job to be the assistant director, deputy director of the FBI. Dick. And most people probably won't get that because most people weren't in the position that you were, right? But let me play some.
So I know a lot of you are concerned also about Epstein. Let me just say in advance, leadership involves frequently being misunderstood and having to make decisions that's going to piss someone off. That's just the way it is. This case had been handled poorly for a long time. And if you go and look at the search warrants, and matter of fact, almost all of it's public now, thanks to President Trump and the team getting it all out there. There's a shitty answer and a shittier answer. And disagreements in D.C. about how to handle level 10 problems. I love how people in the media acted like this was like new, as if the Biden team had done anything to get this stuff out. They'd done shit. The person I thought at the time who nailed what the issues were with this was our good friend Mike Davis. There were a ton of problems with this. Anyone who rapes kids deserves the death penalty. Amen. Here's the problem with the Epstein invest. The FBI doesn't have the evidence many thought it did. I want to see the files, folks. I said, don't let it go. I meant it. We got elected. We looked at it. The file was not, what was in there was not what we thought would be in there. There are not tapes with powerful men raping kids. There is not a list. Epstein's Rolodex was already public. The file's largely unreleasable for many reasons, including grand jury material, court records under seal, child pornography that was downloaded from the internet. It is a deadly serious case. There is zero doubt about it. Everyone in the administration treated it as such. But it was not, it was a level 10 problem. I can prove it to you. No one else had solved it in the past. Those are just the facts.
You are a lying motherfucker. How about that, Dan Bongino? Dude, they just released 3 million files, and they're holding on to 3 million, right? And the assistant deputy or the deputy AG at a press conference said that they were not going to show the videos of rapes. They were not going to show the videos of or people eating people. They were not going to show the videos, which means they have the videos. They have the videos, but they're not going to show them. This next clip of Bongino, I think is funny as shit. So I'm actually going to play it with no volume. So you're not going to hear any sound with this, right? I'm going to turn the volume down because I don't want you to hear. I just want you to watch the fucking video. I just want you to watch the video, man, of this dude, man. Right? I actually think Bongino's losing it, man. But he's lost all credibility. He had Trump on or something, but he's just lost our credibility. So I'm going to turn the video down. I just want you to watch the video.
Oh, this is Karate Man. Double leg, the jump kick, the side kick, the roundhouse, the tie kick, body.
I'll play it with sound now because I don't. I'm gonna play with the sound so you can hear what he was saying. I mean, but it's just hilarious, man. This guy is losing it, man.
Oh, this is Karate Man.
This is Karate Man.
Double leg, the jump kick, the side kick, the roundhouse, the tie kick, body.
All right, so this next hour might piss you guys off, man, because I'm gonna talk about some of y'all boy, man. But this is about accountability, though. This is about accountability, and if you cannot hold your own side accountable when they lie to you, then you're not in a movement. You're in a cult. You're in a cult, and a lot of you are in the MAGA cult, not the MAGA America First. Okay, not the MAGA America only. But you're in the America code because you will not hold your own side accountable. So it's not a movement. Dan Bongino, he was a former Secret Service agent. The guy who protected presidents, the insider who saw the sausage gets made and said, hell no, I'm going to tell the people the truth. That's what he said. He built his entire brand, on being the guy who would not be controlled. Now, I played videos. You saw it. I played videos for you just a second ago. How he changed his tune, right? How he wouldn't be controlled, right? The guy, let me show you this video again. This guy, I need to show you this, right? The guy on the left, okay? Wait, hold on. I'm going to play this matter on
I thought I knew what gay looked like. I thought I knew what a raging homosexual actually looked like. But then again, I had never seen Dan Bongino quote tweeting his own post. Check this out. So Dan Bongino found some hack of an agency called...
Okay, that's when he was going to return. I had to check that and see. I mean, but look at this though, right? I mean, you look at Cash, okay? You look at Bongino, right? So the guy on the left does not look controlled. The guy on the right looks totally controlled.
Listen,
totally compromised.
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal.
Look at him. Look at his face.
Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, I want you, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things.
He has it, though. He has it, bro, and you know he has
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal.
Right?
Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this.
You know he has it all. Just look at the face. I wish I could pause this. I can't, though. But look at the face.
Listen,
right?
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this.
Look at the guy
Catherine
on the right.
Rumler, I want you, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
What did you do?
Himself.
What exactly did you do?
Again, you want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
He's beat. He's defeated, right? So what exactly did you do, Bongino? Besides quit, besides, write books, you got the Fox News gig, you launched a podcast, became one of the biggest conservative media, right? Moved around, but you got paid, right? Bongino became a brand, right? You're supposed to be the watchdog. You're supposed to be the truth teller. You're the warrior against the deep state. $1 million brand built on one promise, Dan Bongino. I'm going to tell you the truth. They don't want you to know. We do that. I don't see nobody offer me $1 million. We do it every Sunday night when I'm here. I mean, shit, I might take some days off. But I'm going to tell you the truth that they don't want you to know. That was the brand that Dan Bongino's supposed to be. Shit, I'm so shadow banned, I can't even get out there most of the time. Right? I'm the brand. The Radical Republicans live show is the brand that's going to tell you the truth and don't want you to know. No, but now here's the question. At what point does Dan's brand, the brand, become more important than the promise? At what point does protecting your income, your platform, your access become more important than telling the truth, Bongino? No, because I'm about to show you the exact moment Dan made that choice. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I've showed it to you, right? I've showed it to you. And it's not taken out of context. That video wasn't edited. That's Dan Bongino in his own words telling you something that is categorically probably outrageously false. That Epstein didn't kill himself. And I don't even have the clip where Bongino said, "There's no evidence Epstein had clients." Shit, I had it. It's up. I'll have to find it. But did you hear? I mean, but you guys remember him saying that, right? Bongino saying there's no evidence that Epstein had clients. Are you kidding me? They just released 3 million emails. How do you feel, Bongino? They just released 3 million 3 million emails and over 2,000 videos, and the deputy AG said they're not going to release the other videos. So obviously they had them. No evidence that Epstein had clients. Look, man, let me tell you what evidence looks like. Since Dan Bongino, former federal law enforcement officer, Secret Service guy, deputy FBI, apparently he forgot. Apparently he forgot what evidence looks like. Let me tell you. Evidence is Ghislaine Maxwell being convicted in a federal court of law of sex trafficking minors, Dan. Convicted of trafficking them to someone. A jury of 12 people looked at the evidence and said guilty. Dan, you don't get convicted of trafficking if there are no clients. So what about the victims, man? What about their statements, right? So that's like saying a drug dealer got convicted, but there were no buyers. It's insane. It's insane. Evidence. How about this evidence, Dan? How about, just the flight log showing dozens of powerful people who are probably redacted, most of them redacted in those emails, flying to Epstein's private island. There's video of them on the island, Dan, by the way, right? We've seen the video, some of the video from the island that got leaked, right, Dan? You forgot about that? And those flight logs are public record. It has the ichios, Dan. The flight logs are public. Should I pull them out for you, Dan? Should I show you the name? Should I show you from the airport that they took off from and the airport where they landed at Little St. James, and then flew back and then went back? Shit. Do I need to show you that evidence, Dan? Evidence is victim testimony. I mentioned that, right? Multiple victims didn't. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, Pam Bondi said that she had. Let me see if I can find it. Right, that she had evidence, right, sitting on her desk. Didn't she say that? Shit, I can't find a video. I think I deleted it. Didn't she say that? Oh, I have the 250 victims, is what she said. That's what she said, right? And I'm not, and I know I'm not mistaking that. She did say that. I'm just trying to look for that video, but I don't have it. But the victim testimony, man, describing being trafficked to powerful men under oath in federal court. Dan, it's there. How can you not say that there's no evidence? Evidence is in an FBI document from August 2019 listing 8 co-conspirators, names redacted except Maxwell and Brunel. What? So what the fuck were you looking at, Dan, while you were there? Were you even looking? Evidence is Maxwell's own court filing revealing 29 people got secret deals with the DOJ to avoid prosecution. 29. Evidence is 3 million pages of documents, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images released by the FBI, and they're still holding 3 more million or more and more videos. And Dan Bongino, former Secret Service, former law enforcement, deputy FBI director, looked at all of that and said that there was no evidence. That's not ignorance. That's not ignorance, and that's not a mistake. That's a choice. That's a choice. The question is, why did he make that choice? Why did he make that choice, and who does it protect? Who does it protect? And I remember, what I said about the Obama video, right? That if motherfuckers got more outraged about children being raped and tortured than about a 2-second meme clip in a minute video, shit might actually get done. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. Bongino would rather probably you stay outraged about anything other than the Epstein list, right? Like, guys are grifters, man. I'm not taking it anymore. The Podfather is back. What are you back for, man? To tell more lies, dude? Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. See, and this is the pattern, right? You guys have to see the pattern. This is the pattern that what Bongino won't talk about, okay? The pattern that Bongino won't talk about. Hold on, I have to go back to my... So Mr. White Trash, he says, Carolyn got to go. All right, good night, Carolyn. I'll holler at you. I know it's late, but check it out till later. He said that he watches Bongino daily, and he know he's not being honest about most he talks about. It's pretty sad. And then, yeah, that's the old video. Yeah, which I probably said, I don't trust cash anymore. Neither do I. Neither do I. And he said he may have killed himself, but he didn't even kill himself. I proved it, man. On my show, I proved that Epstein was still alive. So I actually proved it. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. Let's zoom out. Okay, because the Epstein lie isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a pattern. Okay, you guys have to see the pattern. It's part of a pattern. So let me give you the list of things that Bongino and Mr. White Trash over there, right? You can tell me if I'm lying. You watch this show, you can come back and say, hey, man, you're lying, right? But here's a list of things that Dan Bongino never talked about, okay? He never talks about abolishing the IRS, never. He never talks about the Federal Reserve destroying your dollar, never. He never talks about ending all foreign aid, especially and including to Israel, never. He never talks about abolishing the FBI entirely, especially since he's been there and he's definitely compromised. He won't even criticize them now. He used to criticize them, but abolish them now, never. The Epstein client list, he says there's no evidence. How about real accountability for Fauci? Where's the arrest on Fauci at least, man? Trump's conflict of interest, never. He's never going to talk about that. And there are plenty conflicts of interest, like Jared Kushner negotiating foreign policy with no title, $2 billion from the Saudis. Never talk about that. He'll never talk about the Logan Act, never. And I didn't even see. So I don't watch the Bongino shows. So you have to tell me, Mr. White Trash, how Bongino is going to cover that, if he has, or how will it. But I guarantee you he'll either defend it or ignore it or blame the media. He's not going to blame Trump. What he won't do, right? He won't say, yeah, okay, that's stupid, and let's talk about the children being raped. Because that conversation leads to Epstein. And Epstein leads to the client list. And the client list leads to people who pay Dan Bongino's bills. That's controlled opposition. That's the blueprint. Okay? Step 1, build credibility by telling 80% of the truth. Use that credibility to sell you the 20% lie that matters most. It's the blueprint for Dan, for controlled opposition. Dan Bongino. So they want to keep you focused on Democrats, liberals, the culture war, so you never look at the real power structure. Monetize, get book deals, get speaking gigs, the media contracts, make millions of dollars. Protect the bag. See, so once you're making real money, you've got something to lose. And that's when they own you. That's when they own you, when you have something to lose. Like me, I have nothing to lose. I don't get paid for this. I have absolutely nothing to lose by telling you the truth, right? See, so when they own you, now you won't risk it. You won't say the thing that gets you deplatformed. You won't name the name that costs you your contract. And Dan Bongino is showing you, and he just showed you he made that choice. He made that choice. And Bongino isn't alone on the conservative media grift. He's not. He's not. And this is where I might lose part of you, okay? No, but it needs to be said. He's not alone. He's not one bad actor. This is the blueprint for how conservative media works, okay? You got Ben Shapiro. I don't watch the little fucker. I hate Ben Shapiro, right? And you know who he works for? Sean Hannity. You know, the definition of establishment Republican. He'll criticize Democrats until his face turns red, but he'll never question Trump. He'll never question the administration. He'll never hold him accountable. He'll never ask the hard questions because Hannity's job isn't to inform you, it's to keep you loyal. You know, that's and you know, that's the difference between all of them and me, right? I mean, I've been called a nigga, a coon, a sellout, Uncle Tom, bootlicker, anti-Semite. I told you guys this monkey by my own people, right? Who claim to be my allies, and I'm still here. So, still saying the same shit, still asking the questions nobody else would ever ask. Why? Because I can't be destroyed. Okay, I don't have a bag to protect. I don't have a Fox News contract. I don't have sponsors to lose. I have people to sponsor this show, but they're pretty much conservative and open and let me roll, right? I've got 27 years of military service that nobody can take away from me, Dan. That's what I did. You want to know, what did you do? That's what I did, Dan. 27 years of military service. I have a clear conscience, and guess what? I have a mic. I have a microphone, and that's dangerous to him. That's why I'm shadow banned. That's why on YouTube, the algorithm, I'm shadow banned. Facebook, shadow banned. X, shadow banned. Even Grok, man, like I told the story, even Grok, I asked Grok, hey, man, bro, am I shadow banned? And Grok gave me this big dis. Yes, you are. And I think you should stop paying the $11 a month because you're wasting money because they have the algorithm on you that nobody is seeing your stuff, right? I'm dangerous to them. I'm dangerous. And the only way that people will see this show is if everybody shares the show. Bongino, Shapiro, Hannity, they've got everything to lose. And that's why they'll never tell you the whole truth. They'll never tell you the whole truth. And I want to know, where are the arrests, man? I'm going to keep saying this now. I'm going to tie this all together. Then we're going to get out of here. I might get out of here a little early tonight. So the question that defines this show, where are the arrests? Trump's been president for over a year. Bondi's been AG. Cash Patel runs the FBI. Where's Anthony Fauci, the man who lied about the COVID origins? Funded gain-of-function research. Pushed lockdowns that destroyed millions of lives, children, murdered people, killed people, mandated an experimental vaccine, and they know that it was experimental. They know it was dangerous. They know it killed people. They suppressed other treatments, and he's still walking free. Probably still doing interviews. I haven't seen him in a while. He may be keeping low, but he's still lying. Where are the 29? Maxwell told us about that 29 people got secret deals with the DOJ. Bondi knows who they are. Cash knows who they are. Bongino knows who they are. Cash and Bongino was there when they started all of this redaction, right? As these Epstein lists that they said didn't exist, then of course they exist, and it's 3 million pages now. 2,000 videos, 180,000 pictures, images that they've released. Bondi, Cash, and Bongino, they were all there as the names get redacted. You know what? They know who the fuck are behind those names. They know every person that's been redacted. They know every elitist, every rapist, every man or woman that has done this shit with Epstein. They know every one of them, and they are protecting them. They have the names, and they've arrested nobody. Think about it. They have all the names, and they've arrested nobody. Okay, let's talk about Democrats, right? You want to talk about Democrats? What about Hunter? Where are Hunter Biden's co-conspirators? Okay, Biden pardoned Hunter. Okay, what about the shell companies? What about the foreign nationals who bribed them? What about Tony Bobulinski's testimony? Where are the indictments for any of that shit? See, because the system protects its own. Fauci protected, the 29 protected, Epstein clients protected, the Bidens protected, Jared Kushner protected. Threaten the system, you get destroyed. Ask General Flynn. Ask General Flynn about that. And Bongino will never ask these questions because asking these questions threatens the system that pays him. That's controlled opposition. That's controlled opposition. Winter Olympics is open. J.D. Vance led the delegation on that. Russia and Ukraine talks in Abu Dhabi. Both sides called them positive and constructive. No breakthroughs, though. But we don't have a nuclear treaty with Russia. And if I'm Russia, I have to be honest, man. If I'm Russia, I don't even make another treaty with the United States. I'm like, if I'm Putin, I give us the middle finger, man. If I'm Iran, I give us the middle finger. Honestly, man. Honestly, we are, until these people are arrested, until these people are held accountable for hurting these kids, nothing else is worth fighting for right now, man. You know, they talk about the 2020 election. I told you it was stolen. We knew that. But here's my question about that. I know they are doing this so it won't ever happen again, but I mean, what really truly the fuck is gonna happen? We've had 2 presidents since the 2020 election. What exactly can go back and change? Not a fucking thing. Okay, arrest the people. You know it was stolen. You know what they've done. Arrest them. Do something. You know, but I'm gonna bring this home, man, so we can get out of here. It's late night. I know it's late on the East Coast. So tonight, just like we always do, that nobody else in the media is doing. We all connected the dots. I gave you the real truth, the take on the Obama video, not the left's take, not the MAGA take, but my take, the truth, okay? Staff was stupid. Levitt made it worse. I laughed because, I know who I am, you know who I am, but the real outrage should be about the children being raped, tortured, and eaten by the maniacs who are being protected. Need you guys to stay focused, man. We showed you how the DS is about to shut down, okay? Showed you what's happening with the Logan Act. It's bullshit. But here's what I need you to do, man. I need you to stop trusting these gatekeepers. All of them, including the ones that's on your side. If they won't ask about Kushner's Logan Act violation, if they won't ask about the Epstein client list, if they're telling you to be quiet about it, if they won't ask where Fauci is, then I don't think they're on your side, man. Stop waiting for someone else to save you. Not Trump, not Bongino, not none of these Con Inc. motherfuckers, not Hannity. Start getting involved, man, locally with your community, We have to take this country back, man. Buy silver. Keep buying silver, man. Protect your wealth. The dollar is dying, The dollar is dying, man. So now this has been the Radical Republicans live show after Super Bowl late night special, uncensored, unfiltered, unedited, unscripted, and unapologetic truth, man. I'm going to see y'all next Sunday. Hopefully, if I feel like it. Same place, same time, same truth. God bless you. God bless America. And we're going out on this because this is my new jam. Because this is the way I feel, man. This is the way I feel. This is the way a lot of Americans feel. Y'all be cool, man. Love y'all. Y'all take care.
They've been poking at the wall.
I'll see y'all next week.
They forgot I came from fire, and I don't do peace. Cross that line, boy, that's your last mistake. 'Cause I don't want twice, I just raise the stakes. You threaten mine, and you threaten your life. I don't do prayer circles, I return the strike. Ain't no fear in my bones, ain't no backing out. Say my name wrong once, and now I'm airing it out. I'll burn this bitch down, don't test my flame. You play with hellfire, you say my name. You come for my people, I'll take your crown. I swear to God, I'll burn this bitch down. I'll burn this bitch down, leave nothing behind. Push me too far, I'll lose my mind. You want that smoke, I'll bring that sound. One last chance before I burn this bitch down. I ain't violent for sport, but I finish what you start. I'm the storm in the dark, I'm the iron heart. Kick dirt on my door and I'll bury the plot. I don't bluff, motherfucker, I take the shot. I don't fight fair, I fight final instead. Till the whole damn room learns what I said. Protect what's mine, that's a blood-borne vow. Say a word wrong, you'll find out now. I'll burn this bitch down, don't test my flame. You play with hellfire, you say my name. You come for my people, I'll take your crown. I swear to God, I'll burn this bitch down. I'll burn this bitch down, leave nothing behind. Push me too far, I'll lose my mind. You want that smoke, I'll bring that sound. One last chance before I burn this bitch down. Last breath, last spark, last round. Touch mine once, I'll level the ground. I'll burn this bitch down, don't test my flame. You play with hellfire, you say my name. You push on my family, I'll take you out. I warned you once, now watch me burn it down.